What is up, everybody? Cody Johansson from the Johnson Brothers. Today we're looking at 40 Winks for the PlayStation. Is that intro enough for you? Let's get to it.
Yeah. 40 Winks for the PlayStation. What can be said about this game that hasn't been said 100 times? Oh, I know. Did you know that there's a game called 40 Winks on PlayStation? Yeah, about 10 years ago I bought this game for about 20 bucks off of eBay, and it was still sealed in the original package. Well, since they were a dime a dozen and I just had to play it, naturally I opened it. And if I had to guess, it's still probably dirt cheap to buy 40 Winks sealed in the box. But let's check it out. No. All you people want is money! Have you ever wondered what it would be like if the Sony PlayStation released a video game that was supposed to be on the Nintendo 64? Have you ever wondered what it would be like to play games like Mario 64, Donkey Kong 64, or Banjo-Kazooie on the likes of the PS1? Well, this is about as close as it got. 40 Winks may not be a unique video game in design, but it certainly isn't like most PlayStation 1 games. For starters, or for appetizers, as we say in the restaurant business. For starters, the front of the jewel case is a quote from Nintendo Magazine, which features the line, "Move over, Mario," which is a perplexing source to be seen on a PS1 title. That's because this game was supposed to be released on the Nintendo 64. Unfortunately, the publisher canceled the Nintendo 64 version due to financial troubles and released it solely on the PlayStation because compact discs are much cheaper than cartridges. The PlayStation has hundreds upon hundreds of games over the Nintendo 64 for this very reason. Here in the intro cutscene, we see our two main protagonists, Rough and Tumble, being coaxed into going to bed by their mother, and if you were not a fan of these lousy bedtime puns, just remember it makes an excellent drinking game. Anyhow, she tells them about the 40 Winks that give us pleasant dreams, and the Hoodwinks which give us nightmares. Not to mention, the exposition turns to an obvious foreshadowing when she tells them if the Winks were to disappear, then they would have to rescue them.
Says dreaming is a period of elevated brain activity occurring during certain sleep phases. Elevated brain activity's boring.
Meanwhile, in the second part of this slightly too long intro, we are introduced to the game's antagonist, Nightcap. So Rip Van Dickhead over here decides to involve his stuffed teddy bear, aka Threadbare, in on the scheme to stop sweet dreams from occurring by releasing the Hoodwinks and capturing the 40 Winks. He reminds me a lot of Frollo from Hunchback of Notre Dame, except that Nightcap is a complete buffoon who can't even figure out a clock. Kind of reminds me of Christopher Lloyd a little bit now that I think about it. So the first thing you're going to notice is that the game looks mighty fine for a PlayStation title. The fully immersive three-dimensional environments are appealing to the eyes, and the characters walk at a respectable pace. Not too fast, not too slow. If you remember, I played Rascal about a year ago, and like that game, we have a hub world that happens to be the main character's house. Ruff reminds me of a younger Rascal. It could be the blonde hair. Between this game, Monster Bash, and Rascal, I sure seem to be playing a lot of games with young blonde protagonists. I guess it was a 90s thing. So this game is full of nightmares, that's kind of the theme, but the biggest nightmare in this game has to be Wakey Wake. He's this creepy-looking alarm clock with a Steve Harvey mustache made from the hands of a clock. It's pretty creepy if you want to know the truth. And he talks like... The first world in this game is the scary horror world, kind of like Gex. Yeah, another reference, right? But we go to the Haunted Mansion to finally play the first level of the game. It's pretty cool how everything is set up. TikTok manner, fourth shot. The Winks look like Furbies, or really ugly gremlins. It's pretty unappealing. Let's talk about the power-ups and items. First, there are Z's. You want to collect as many of these as you can because they represent your health. Whenever an enemy touches you, you lose a certain amount of Zs, but most of them scatter about. So if you're fast enough, you can be more conservative with your life. It's kind of like Sonic with Zs instead of the rings. Next we have the cogs. The cogs allow you to rescue winks and open doors as well as cages. These are required to finishing the stage, so don't leave them behind. There are also these moon icons. The moons allow you to use your projectile attack. With rough, it's a scream, so turn your damn volume down before you wake all your neighbors up, or otherwise just stick with tumble. The moons aren't as important if you want to know the truth. If you happen to be in an area where they're hard to obtain, just move on. Moons and Zs are found floating, in crates, and appear once enemies have been killed. Cogs don't come from killing enemies, and neither do dream keys. The controls take some time to get used to. Whenever your character jumps, it's almost as if they are carrying barbells. Yeah, gravity seems to be pulling them down, and you really have to get a running jump to scale platforms. Not a big deal, kind of to be expected. What is a big deal is the camera. It sucks. It absolutely sucks. It never positions itself where it needs to be, and you always have to reposition it with L1 and R1, even if it's a dire situation where you can't bullshit because there are so many enemies swarming. The hoodwinks are just hilarious. I mean, they're basically just chia pets with chicken legs.
Hello, my baby! Hello, my honey!
They actually look cuter than the winks if you want to know the truth. There are locks all over the game. Sometimes you're forced to kill all of the enemies in a room before you can unlock a door, and other times, if there is a number next to the lock, then you're required to collect that number of cogs first. Yeah, so the game's pretty good actually, but it's also pretty hard. Dream keys. So first of all, they look like locks. Okay, not keys, but whatever. Anyway, they can be a little tricky to locate, but you have to make this a priority as well. If you do not collect all 4 dream keys in every level, you can't go back to the hub world. Depending on the portal color that you enter for each level, the dream key will correspond with that. Either it'll be blue, green, or red. It's a good system to remind you where you forgot one. So this game essentially is a collectathon. You have to collect just about everything. Pushing objects is very cumbersome. You end up sliding all over the place. This is one section where I wish you could lock yourself onto a grid. And now I'm dead. How did I lose all my damn lives on the first level? Lousy game. It's still pretty good though. There are jack-in-the-boxes all over the game, which allow you to upgrade your character for a short while. The logo in front tells you what the special character is. For instance, the star is a jester. The jester can jump higher and has a much quieter projectile attack. Sometimes the platforming just becomes outright freaking ridiculous. It's like a carnival act. So in level 2, you get this pretty sweet power-up where you can become a caveman, and now you can vomit bones at the enemies as a projectile attack. He does move a bit slower, but he is a lot more powerful of a character as well, and it takes less time to defeat enemies. I really dislike using the scream attack because it's so damn annoying, but to be honest, it actually kills enemies a bit quicker, especially when you're getting ganged up on by giant spiders. So in my opinion, when you play as Ruff, the Jester is the best one to play as. But if you're confronted with a Jack-in-the-Box with a yin-yang symbol, you can jump in and become a ninja. The ninja is pretty nice because when you play in this mode, you can jump higher and you can attack faster. But you're going to need to because each attack isn't quite as strong as the other characters. I'm a Frankenstein and that's okay. Pick up your pitchforks and burn all the hay. My head is as big as my entire body. I'm Frankenstein, bitch. I really can't get over how much the graveyard resembles Medieval for PlayStation. It's like I'm playing as a young Daniel Fortescue. Hey, this reminds me of another game that we played on the channel. Zombies Ate My Neighbors, anyone? That also starred a blonde kid. We need to start changing it up around here. Slice and dice, slice and dice, slice and dice, slice and dice. So on the upper left side of the screen, it's going to tell you how much time you have left to be superpowered. Now, there's coins in the level that you can collect to bring this timer back up, so look out for those, because you're going to need them. Ah, yes, of course there's a totally unnecessary racing section, because it's a 1999 platformer. Bravo. I mean, I guess it's okay, but here's the thing about these races. You don't need to actually do them in order to beat the game. So, the only point is to collect items, and you don't really need the items. So the races are completely pointless and just kind of a waste of time. I did this one and that's it. I also lost by a damn inch, so I'm gonna smack the shit out of this witch. Every single boss in this game is threadbare. Nightcap doesn't come out even once. Now how pathetic is that? Also, listen to this music for just a second. Would you ever guess that this is the kind of music that would play when you were fighting a giant spider in a cemetery? The cinematics in between boss fights are pretty entertaining, but sometimes I feel like I'm just watching a Disney movie.
But we're going to patch you up and you'll be better than ever. Better, leaner, tougher. Good. You're the killing machine.
World 2. Hope you like water levels, kids, because you got a whole world full of them. The swimming controls aren't terrible. They're certainly not the worst I've had to get used to. Oh, what is that? The kid can breathe underwater, provided that there's bubbles floating up. I mean, that seems like a risky proposition if you ask me. I also noticed that the music does this pretty cool thing when you go underwater. It sounds like the music is being muffled by the water as well. Don't forget to save your game when you have 0 lives. Oh, what a shame! You get to start from the beginning! Oh look, it's the same boss as last time, except this time he's in a giant crab instead of spider. What the? Move on. Let's get to the next one. Oh, this is actually a good one. So this superpowered character allows you to use a jetpack to reach high places. Plus, he has a missile attack. So that's a great thing, actually. This is about the time in the game when I really started enjoying myself. Got the rhythm down, I got the basic mechanics figured out, the controls, and I'm just having a good time from here through the end. And I don't know, maybe it's just me, but when you consider the prospect of putting human beings in a world of fantasy, it actually does make a lot of sense to have the story be about dreaming. The Jester is still an interesting choice of character. Makes me wonder if there was some hat tipping to Pandemonium. And classic bullshit pitfall. Hey, look who's back! It's our boy Threadbare, with another uninspired boss battle. The only real change is that he shows up with slightly more hit points than last time. I say if you're going to use the same boss again and again, do us a favor and change up the functionality of the boss fight once in a while. Rough and Tumble are such hardcore badasses that they can fall into lava and only get hurt a little bit. Also, we appear to be in dinosaur times, I think. Oh yeah, see, there's a dinosaur footprint, but there also appears to be man-made objects. So I guess because this is a game about dreams, they thought I wouldn't point out the historical inaccuracy. Well, to that, I say, checkmate, Eurocom. Well, at least the Neanderthal avatar makes sense here. The graphics while swimming are some of the best. Right above our protagonist here, we appear to have some foliage on the water's surface. Or perhaps he is merely dreaming of the vegetables he fed the family dog while at dinner. Either way, seeing as though they are existing in a world of bad dreams, what beautiful nightmares they have. So just so I don't miss an obvious opportunity, let's read what dreaming about swimming means on luciding.com. Let's see here. Ah, here it is. Dreaming of swimming in a river suggests the pace of your day-to-day life is about to change. So what I get from that is he's going to military school next year. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Witch Doctor. Got it, here we go. Suppose the witch's dream is more focused on the medical aspects, such as a witch doctor. The dream suggests that you are utilizing unconventional methods to solve your life's problems. Perhaps you are creative with how you approach real-life issues. However, be careful about your process, as other people may not believe or accept your actions. I think that Rough and Tumble have been playing too much Crash Bandicoot, but that's just me. Another threadbare boss fight. I have no comment. As we get closer and closer to finishing this game up, we are now taken to the haunted dungeons of the medieval dream world. Let's see. To dream of skeletons, here we go. Seeing skeletons in your dreams portends illness, misunderstandings with others, and injury at the hands of others, especially enemies. Okay, and what about dungeons? Let's see. Dungeons. Okay, dream about entering a dungeon. To enter a dungeon in dreams foretells that you will be faced with complications and trials of your endeavors. You will face important decisions and actions that may make or break your life. You will have to dig deeper into your deepest desires and the core of your beliefs. And then dreaming about being a ninja indicates that you have passive-aggressive behavior. You wish to avoid confrontation with others, but at the same time, you wish that you had power over others. And why is there a bare ass in a kid's game? What's even worse is that face is going to give me nightmares for the next fortnight. Oh, talk about familiarity. I mean, is this not a spiritual successor to Rascal? I don't exactly know why, but when I got to this level, the first thing I thought of was, where do I go? I suppose I forgot that I could swim. Also, oh, Spyro, what did they do to you? I don't really know what else there is to say. At this point, it's just kill the dream baddies, collect everything, fight an uninspired boss, lather, rinse, repeat. Oh, and if you're still playing the drinking game, here are the level names. So we've made it to the final world of the game. What do we get? We get drunken pirates and birds that shit all over the place. 40 Winks also happens to have one of the most beautiful background scenes of any game for PlayStation. The fact that you happen to be underwater during this scene makes it look like you're flying into a dreamlike water painting. Simply incredible. I think the thing's supposed to be Donkey Kong, but it's way more terrifying. What the hell is that thing? And at long last, a boss fight that is different. It only took the entire game. This actually presents a challenge because it's really hard to time the cannons to hit Threadbare just right. And he starts off with like 10 hit points. So the challenge lies with the amount of health he has more than anything else. Now it's finally time for the final boss battle with Nightcap. Just kidding, it's Threadbare again! He's in another suit of armor, and he just has more HP this time. It's more challenging because you have to use the slide attack, which you haven't really had to use this entire game until now. But meh, it's uninspired, and it's a disappointing way to finish things off. So do I recommend 40 Winks? Sure, it's not bad. It's actually pretty good in terms of being a 90s 3D platformer, especially when you play through the first couple of worlds. Things start slow and only pick up once you've punched your way through the water levels. World 2. The collectathon element is fine, but why are there so many unnecessary racing levels? Either give them a purpose or get rid of them. The controls and camera take some getting used to, but at least you can control the camera. The enemies don't add much strategic value as they essentially fight the same with mere palette swaps, and the boss battles, well, they aren't great. But yes, I do recommend it for what it brings to the table, which is a fun and clever adventure game. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.